Hello guys, it's Anomaly from Sweden. And you can see right here, I'm flexing my new Autotronic knife. Oy, 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 oy. In today's video, however, I'm not going to be talking about my butterfly Autotronic. I'm going to be talking about a new knife that I purchased recently that is a one of one, meaning there only exists one in the entire world. That's crazy! But before we get into that, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Skinport. Now, if you don't know well, everyone should know what Skinport is. It's a CSGO marketplace! Yeah, boy! On Skinport, you can buy and sell CSGO skins, and they've got over 210,000 skins listed. That's insane. It is a fast, smooth, and secure marketplace based in Germany. And if you buy skins, you get them instantly if they're tradable without any hidden payment fees. And if you're selling skins, you get paid with real money. And if they're listed for over $1,000, then the selling fee is only 6%. And if you're buying skins, for example a Karambit Gamma Doppler on Steam, it would cost you almost 700 euro. Meanwhile on Skinport, it's available for only 580 euro. That is a pretty big difference. They're also the highest rated CSGO marketplace on Trustpilot with a 4.9. Thank you Skinport for sponsoring this video intro, and use the link in the description if you want to buy or sell CSGO skins. Let's get on with the video. Now, as I said, it is a knife that only exists one in the entire world, and I'm not lying. There's literally only one skin in the world that is this exact skin. And now, before I show you guys the skin, I want to set up some rules for how I determine if a skin really is a 1 out of 1. For example, the butterfly Autotronic that I unboxed could technically be the only one in the world. Now, there exists a ton of butterfly knives that have been unboxed, but if you look at mine, there's only one with the pattern ID 998. There's literally only one with the pattern ID 998. But that doesn't really count, because it doesn't matter if it's pattern ID 998 or 220 or 121, because they all look the same. Here is mine, pattern ID 998, and here's a random one with pattern ID 220. They're exactly the same. I would say the same rules apply, for example, on Dopplers, where the pattern ID doesn't really matter. It's just the face of the skin that matters. If it's a face 1, 2, 3, 4, or a, for example, Sapphire. Now, another thing that definitely counts is if a skin is stat track or not. For example, this stat track Crimson Web is one of out of only 3 in the world. But of course, if you remove the stat track and just take Skeleton Crimson Web Factory New, there exists a lot more. But only 3 stat track Factory New. Now, Factory New, the exterior, is something that also applies. For example, if you have a skin that's very rare, like stat track Skeleton Crimson Factory New, then of course it counts stat track and Factory New. So now that we have all of those rules set up, I would like to show you one item that is very similar to the rarest skin that I have, the 1 out of 1. This is a StatTrak Bayonet Sapphire Factory New with a pretty decent float. Now this one is not rare at all. As you can see, there exists a lot of them, actually like almost 70. But as I said, this is not the rarest skin. This is a like 1 out of 67. The 1 of 1 skin that I have is actually this StatTrak Bayonet Sapphire. Now why is it a 1 of 1, you might ask? Well, it's minimal wear. Now, as you can see in the database for Bayonet Sapphire minimal wear, there's quite a lot of them. But you'll notice something special. There is only one StatTrak. Out of all of the 19 ones that exist, only one is StatTrak. And guess who owns it? Yeet. And as you can see, now that I search for only minimal wear StatTrak, there only exists one, which is pretty cool. Now, does this increase the price of this StatTrak Bayonet Sapphire to a lot? Well, no, not really. It just makes it a whole lot harder to sell. And since none of them exist, I couldn't really know what the price was when I bought it. So I offered according to the non-StatTrak versions and the M9 version and other versions where StatTrak minimal wear existed. And I also told him, like, I don't really know what this is gonna sell for, but this is what I think. And if it sells for more, then I'll give you more money, of course. Now, this is 0.076, which is decent float for a minimal wear. If you look at all the Bayonet Sapphire minimal wear, it's actually the 9th best out of 19, so not half bad. And as you can see in my inventory, mine is the number 1, both best and worst float of a StatTrak Bayonet Sapphire minimal wear, because mine is the only one that exists. Now, I think this is very interesting, because I think, to my knowledge, this is the only time I've ever had a knife which is truly one of one. Like, even with all the blue gems I've had, there's been many others of them. This is the only StatTrak minimal wear Bayonet Sapphire that exists. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Oh, that is actually very beat up. Look at the back here. Jesus Christ. Now, in-game, I mean, you can kinda see it's minimal wear. It looks maybe like a ultra bad factory new, but it works. Everyone sees that it's Sapphire. Now, the price of this one, I think, is going to be something like 3,500 euro. That's a little less than what the factory new ones are selling for, and a little more than the non-StatTrak ones are selling for. But to be honest, anything that's like over 3,200, I think, is a fair offer. Now, I'm sorry to say, this isn't really the coolest knife in the world to have a 1 out of 1 out of, because there aren't that many knives at all that are 1 of 1s. This is one of the few minimal wear Sapphires, StatTraks, that still haven't been unboxed, more than one, but at least I'm happy for this fun little quirk on a skin that I bought, because it is a 1 out of 1. Very cool, but sadly, I mean, it looks like shit. So, thank you guys for watching, and thank you Skinport for sponsoring this video. Now I'm going to go to my bank and explain why I spent 3,500 euro on a knife, which is absolutely dog shit. Yeah, yeet.